Are you looking for Thanksgiving books that will actually educate your children, not just entertain them? I've got just the thing for you. I'm a homeschooling mom whose children read on a third grade level when we started kindergarten. That's because I read 1,000 books to them before kindergarten. My son just scored in the 99th percentile on the SAT, so we've seen a few books in our lives. I want to show you some books for little kids and also some for older kids. Let's start with picture books. So we're looking at preschool age, early elementary age, sometimes even older kids like 11, 12, even 13, depending on the maturity of the child, might enjoy these books as well. Let's start with a true story. Thanksgiving in the Woods. This is a real family from Albany, New York, who is inviting people on their farm, to their farm on Thanksgiving Day, starting in the morning. There are mountain bikers that come through for a hot breakfast, and they have real pictures. Well, I think this is the only real picture of them singing because they sing together. Okay, so they eat, right? There's breakfast for the mountain bikers and anybody that comes through. And then for the afternoon meal, the actual Thanksgiving meal happens later in the day. And the book itself is just a typical picture book. There's a family that gets ready to go to this farm and experience the day together. Their family comes there, their friends come there, but also strangers. If you even Google this family from upstate New York, there are articles in the news about their farm and their hospitality on Thanksgiving. And at the end of the book, you will see Simple Gifts, the song that is actually originally a Shaker song. Joseph Brackett wrote this in 1848, a Shaker from Maine. And they sing the song together at the end of the meal. If you've never heard the song Simple Gifts, I would tell you to pull it up on YouTube with the King Singers from England. Absolutely amazing arrangement. So, and by the way, I hope you read with your children and you sing with your children. I used to work with troubled teenagers at a place called Advent Home Learning Services in McMinn County, Tennessee, Calhoun, Tennessee. And the therapist, our boss, who had a PhD in criminology and sociology, he was a licensed therapist, a licensed counselor, and he put together this continuum. They would have to go from level 1 to level 5 in their therapy, in their growth, in their emotional growth. These boys that were between ages 12 and 17, nobody wanted them anymore. They were so troubled. They had ADHD, they had ODD, they had ADD. So they had a lot of attention deficit, oppositional, defiant behavior. It was tough on the parents. It was a boarding academy for troubled teenage boys. And I worked in the communications department, but I interacted with the boys a lot too because we all had to. We all were licensed by the Department of Children's Services to work with the boys and so on. And when they went from level 1 to level 2, one of the things that showed that growth was they would start singing in the chapel. So we had chapel for them every morning, and we staff would go and sit there with them. And when you see these kids sitting like this and not singing and not even looking out at what's going on up front, you knew there was something wrong. And then all of a sudden, a week into the program, a month into the program, they start singing. And the therapist explained to us that's the sign that healing has begun. So there's something about singing that breaks down a lot of things. So, especially when you're trying to bond with your children, hold them when they're young, read to them, and then also sing with them, you establish a very strong foundation. Because once they graduate, these are still your children. And I hope you're building a strong foundation with them, reading, singing together, obviously doing chores around the house. All that helps to bond. And this is such a wonderful book that shows you real people who are doing this in upstate New York. By the way, I'm going to link in the description box all these books. That way it's easy for you. I know everybody's busy around the holidays. You just click around, order these books for yourselves, maybe print out a list, go to the library. You don't have to buy these. And, show them to your children. 'Twas the night before Thanksgiving. This is such a great book. It takes the 'twas the night before Christmas idea, poem, rhymes, uh, funny illustrations. It actually makes references to art, famous art like Van Gogh, Starry Night, right? Um, how about this one? I'm going to let you guess what painting this is referencing. Just a funny rhyming book. By the way, little kids and older kids, but especially little kids who are just learning to read, they really need rhyming words. They need it, and they like it. They enjoy it. Okay, and they can remember it better. So if you read this to them, for the 2 weeks in November before Thanksgiving, or even from like November 1 through Thanksgiving, they might even know some of these things by heart because it's easy to memorize. A Turkey for Thanksgiving. This is a series with a moose, and it's more edutainment, but the point is they've got good values, they've got good vocabulary. And by the way, research has shown that vocabulary is the only predictor of success. So they look at the vocabulary of third graders, and they can predict, this is what they use to calculate how many prison cells they need in different states. Okay, so vocabulary is where it's at. Even though some books might be a little light when it comes to educational value, they still have vocabulary, syntax, grammar. There's a lot to be said about plot, building a plot, characters, conflict resolution. So any book you read to them is going to help with the SAT scores in the future. All right, now this is my favorite, Bruce the Bear. If you have not seen the series based on Mother Bruce, um, definitely I encourage you to go there. This is Thanks for Nothing. This is a very grumpy bear. Okay, it's a tiny book. They do have normally the Bruce Bear books are this big. Okay, this is the one for Halloween, and of course he's grumpy as usual. This is the one for Thanksgiving, and he says thanks for nothing. Um, they're very short and sweet, okay? Just a couple of sentences on a page. But again, great subject matter, values, conflict resolution. This is a great opportunity for you to speak with your children about attitude, right? Attitude and gratitude. And you don't have to make it preachy every time, or maybe once. All right, so those are the books for little kids. By the way, if you've received value from Homeschool Ways, please subscribe. Over 95% of my viewers are not subscribed. And I'm told that I need to ask you guys to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can receive a little notification when I publish more content, new content, which happens every week. And also, it helps with the algorithm because that way it pushes more homeschooling videos out to help other families. It's all about helping others, okay? Thank you. I appreciate your support. Now, let's move into the teenage years. We've got, this is very good. And you can see I'm still reading it. I'm almost done with it. It's absolutely hilarious. This book received the National Book Award a few years ago. It's written by Sherman Alexie. It's a novel about a 14-year-old Indian boy he transfers off the reservation to an all-white school. And you can only imagine the adventures, let's call them adventures, he will go through. You will have so many topics to discuss with your children from this book. The title is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. Lots of topics to discuss with your children. It's rated R for violence and language. But if your children are already teenagers, I think they need to know that there are people in the world who talk like this, who think like this, who act like this. Um, Great values in the book. And of course, it's all about the Indians and how their situation is today. All right. So if you have not exposed your kids to anything other than Squanto in the beginning and, cranberry and all that, it's time to see what the Native Americans are doing today, what their situation is like today. We live about an hour away where we are in Gatlinburg. We live an hour away from Cherokee, North Carolina. And we go there sometimes and we see them doing their dances on the side of the road, and they've got their beautiful shops with arts and crafts, and we like to go there and support their endeavors. It is quite a conversation about this. So I think your children, and by the way, it's a page turner. Yesterday I read 100 pages easily, just because, and I was laughing the whole time. It's just so funny. Okay, last but not least, I have the #1 New York Times bestseller by Tara Westover, Educated, a memoir. Your children should be grateful for being homeschooled. They should be grateful for education in general. This girl was unschooled by her family, and that meant she didn't really learn much. Okay, this was a Mormon family. It's a real story, a memoir of how she went from being unschooled in her Mormon family all the way to Cambridge University. And the things that she's learned and the things that she went through. I don't want to spoil the story again. It's some tough topics are being covered by teenagers. Enjoy tough topics and debates. So there you have it. These are some of the titles. I may put more in the description box because there are so many other books out there about Thanksgiving, and we've read so many books. And so I hope this helps you. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.